Good evening and welcome to Chesapeake Public Schools Family Empowerment Webinar presented by the Office of Family and Community Engagement, or FACE. I am Laura Lerf, one of the FACE specialists. Our office, which is under the Department of Engagement, seeks to create meaningful partnerships in order to inspire, engage, and empower families, educators, and community agencies to support the initiatives of Chesapeake Public Schools. We're typically available Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and can be reached by our main phone line at 757-482-5923 or face@cpschools.com. Thank you so much for joining us tonight as we explore all of the different resources that the Chesapeake Public Library has to offer. Before we begin, I want to let you know this webinar is being recorded to share on our Chesapeake Public Schools YouTube channel. Participants' cameras and the chat feature are disabled. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please use the Q&A feature located at the bottom of your screen. We will answer all questions by the conclusion of tonight's presentation. Tonight, to educate and provide library resources to our families, we are excited to have Amanda Jackson, Director of Chesapeake Public Library, and Isaac Acosta Jr., who serves as the Training Specialist for Chesapeake Public Library. Welcome, Amanda and Isaac. We are so excited to have you here with us tonight. I will go ahead and turn the program over to you to share all of the good stuff that the library has to offer.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you to FACE for putting this on. It's really important to us at the library to make sure that we let people know about the free resources that are available to them, and we are very happy for the partnership that we have with the Chesapeake Public Schools. It's a great partnership and one that I know that all of our students benefit from. And thank you in advance, Isaac, for helping me out answering these questions. I'll get started by sharing my screen. I'm super excited to say that you have the first look at our new website. So the Chesapeake Public Library, for the last several months, we've been working on a brand new website to make things easier to find, and we have completed that. It actually goes live on September 15th, which for those of you who are here live tonight, that's going to be tomorrow. So we're really happy to have that and to be able to unveil that and show you that tonight. I mentioned our partnerships. The first thing I wanted to talk about is the student cards. Every student with the Chesapeake Public School System has access to the student card at the library at any of our locations using their student ID number and the PIN number, or the PIN, which is actually your month and day of birth. So if you were born on May 15th, it would be 0515. And you use your student number or your lunch number for some folks. That's what they call it. Then you can access our online services, so all the things I'm going to show you tonight, but you can also come into any of our locations and check out up to 5 items. There are no late fees. We don't charge any late fees for any of our cards. Even if you have a traditional card, a physical card, you still have that student card. So it's really important for me to bring that up to make you aware of that. I wanted to talk about a couple of things on our website first. First, just because there's a lot of information I'm going to share with you tonight, if you think about this later and wonder and want to go back to that information, you're not really sure where to get it, go straight under our How Do I tab. And when you click on that, you can go right to our student tools. Our student tools are going to tell you all about the library card checkouts. It's also going to tell you a couple of the different websites or the different services that we offer. And then you can go over here on our left-hand side, and depending on the age of your student, you can find different resources tailored to your students. We also have our room reservations. I'm not going to click on this because it takes us to an external site, but our room reservations at all of our locations, we have study rooms available. This is a really great opportunity for high schoolers as they're doing group projects. If they just want a quiet place to study, access to Wi-Fi, using their Chromebooks that the schools have provided to them, you can do all of that at any of our libraries. You click on our room reservations and you can reserve a room. I know that my youngest, who is also a Chesapeake Public School school student really enjoys using this just as an opportunity to kind of get out of their room and go to a quiet place to study. They find that sometimes they're a little bit more productive here. We also offer wireless printing. So this is a really cool feature if you have something you need to print out for school. And a lot of us don't have printers at home anymore. We don't use them. They take up a lot of ink. You can do that from the library. Go to any of our locations and you're able to print those for free. But what I really want to talk about is our online resources. So here at the top of the page, if you go to online resources, you'll see all of the phenomenal resources we have for free. I'm going to talk about just a few of them and how you might want to use them. If you click on them, which I'm not going to do, I've already got them on tabs up here at the top, you've got ABC Mouse. You can access that from the library or you can access it right from home. You just need your library card. And remember, our students already have that in their student ID numbers. You can see some really cool things here with our ABC Mouse. When you go through it, it's tailored to our early elementary age. So you can do math help, you can do early reading, get some reading skills practiced. And if you have students who are not yet in school, maybe they're in preschool, they haven't started with the Chesapeake Public Schools, this is a great resource to kind of get them learning and make sure that they're ready to start school next fall or the fall after that. I want to also mention now go to a little bit older age group, our America's newspapers. These are newspapers from all over the country, and you can access full text for the kids who are doing reports. Maybe they have something on current events. I went ahead and entered in here Asian elephants because I love elephants. I love animals. So I thought that would be kind of cool. So if we go in and we type in under our search, we can get to all the different types of articles that have been written. Go to our best match and it's going to show us. So here we're learning a little bit about Asian elephant mothers. We have the preview so that we can preview that article before we print it out or before we cite it to make sure that that's exactly what we were looking for. So it's a great way to help students do their research, but to do it in kind of a no fault environment so they get a little bit of information. But if that wasn't what I was looking for, then I can go straight down to the very next one and I get information about that. If I wanted to do it by a specific year, so I wanted to limit it to something that came out in the last 3 years because it was a current events article. If I wanted to do something, if I was doing something historical, so I was talking about the Vietnam War, and I wanted to maybe look at articles that were written during that time period for my history class, I could do it there. And you can see below that you've got options for journals, for magazines, newspapers. So it's a great way to do research from home using vetted sources. The next one is that I want to talk about is going to be our Explora. This is geared towards different age groups. So it has older age groups, but it also has younger ones as well. And I'm going to search for biographies. So I want to talk about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I can just begin to start typing that in. And from right here, it's going to give me a lot of information about anything that I wanted to know about. So this is going to tell me current topics again for those reports that you may be doing or that your students, or maybe if it's something that your student has come home and then they're really excited about something that they've learned in the classroom and you want an opportunity to further that excitement. Let's learn a little bit more about that subject because I see that you're really passionate here. This is a great place to be able to do that. So if I just type in Ruth Bader, it's going to give me options. I don't even have to know all the names. I don't have to be a great speller. It's going to give me suggestions. So now I can learn a little bit here about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I can access the full text online. I could even download it and take it into the classroom with me. I'm going to learn a little bit about what the article may be, how long it is, and then there's citation information for our much older students who may be working on research papers. The next thing I love is Freegle. I'm not going to show you this. I'm just going to point that it's right here on our website. This is essentially free Spotify. So again, I'm going back to my own student. They like to listen to music when they study and do homework. It's kind of downtime. It's also a great way for our teachers to have a little music in the classroom. just like Spotify, I can search for certain artists. I can search for genres of music. I can download these things and just listen to them at home, on the road, in the classroom, anywhere that I have access to the internet. The next thing I'm going to mention is our Gale in Context Elementary. This is, once again, another research type database for our younger students. I love this one though, because it gives me a lot of different options. So if I click on health, I want to, maybe I'm doing something in health class, or maybe I'm just kind of interested. I'm going to look at maybe healthy habits. You can see that this is all very image based. So it is geared towards, this is geared towards our younger kids. I want to learn about good school habits. I just started school. I want to make sure that I do really well. I want to look at this article. If you see here on the left, what I really like about this website is it gives me different reading levels. So if I'm an early reader, I'm a kindergartner, first grader, and I'm just starting the process in school of learning how to research or writing a paper, learning to write, and I've got to do some background work in that. If you click on level 1, it gives me things like definitions of harder words or words that I may not have been familiar with. It can also allow me over here to my right, I can listen to it. I can make the font bigger. I can also translate it. So if I'm a student whose native language is not English, but I am working on my skills and I want to get a little bit more help, I can go in and I can say, okay, I want you to translate this article into Spanish for me. And it will absolutely translate all of that. So I can do my homework and do some of my research in Spanish, Polish, Korean. You can see there's a ton of languages here, and it will translate this entire article into that language for me. It will also show me if I'm maybe more advanced reader, I can choose level 2, and that's going to give me a little bit more complexity in the type of article that it's going to show me. Not only do I have those images that you saw that I was first clicking on, but I can also search here. So if I wanted to search, once again, I wanted to go with my Asian elephants, it would help if I could spell it. And I didn't spell it. It gives me articles, it gives me magazines, it gives me newspapers. So similar to the America's newspapers or that I showed you earlier, this is another way, but again, kind of geared towards a younger age group. So it's more easily digestible for them. If we keep going down, so we have so many different things, we have them in alphabetical order, but there's so much to look at. Homework help now is one of my favorite things. And I think one of the things that is really, really beneficial to students of all age groups that I wanted to talk about. So let me, oh, my saved bar is getting in my way. So you have to excuse me just a moment. Here we go. It gives me several ways. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's homework help. I can do a couple of things here though. This is live homework help. So every day from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m., I can access a live tutor. This goes from kindergarten through grad school. So if you've got older students who've already graduated the Chesapeake Public School System, but are now in college and maybe struggling with chemistry or struggling in that English class or history, they can go right here. I can connect with a live tutor using my grade. And then after I choose my grade, it'll give me the subject. That live tutor is vetted by subject matter experts to help. I can upload my homework there. I can ask for more assistance. So I've done my homework. We've gone through my algebra work. I'm still not getting it. I've got a test tomorrow. I'm really concerned about it. They can upload additional problems that are very similar to the thing that I'm already working on. Language Lab. This is excellent for our students who are taking a secondary language. So if I'm learning Spanish, if I'm learning French, I can go in and use that homework and have access to a live tutor in that foreign language. So a French tutor can help me build my vocabulary, learn how to work with different verb tenses and how to conjugate those verbs. One of the things that we're using in my house right now is our Skill Surfer. So as I mentioned, I have a child in the Chesapeake Public School System who is getting ready for college, much to my mom's sadness, but we're accepting it. We have registered for the SAT and the ACT. Those are expensive tests, and they're also very anxiety inducing in our students. One way we can help them through these standardized tests, you'll see here that we have both the AP tests as well. I can log on to here. I can click on this at any time and I can take prep packs. I can learn what to expect from the SAT that I'm about to take. I can learn how I can get flashcards if I want. I can do overviews so that I'm getting rid of some of that anxiety that you might have when you're taking a test. I want to mention that I went ahead just for fun to see what would happen, and I took an SAT test. I did not do well, and that was kind of intentional, but I've logged in. This is saved because I've created my account here. I've taken the SAT math test. You can see I did not do well at all. I only scored a 20%. Math is not my strong suit. Clearly, that's why I'm a librarian, because I'm the English person. If I click on that test though, it gave it to me, it saved it for me. It also told me where I got things wrong. So I can go down this test and it will show me the different skill sets that one would have to do well. And I can even click on live help right from here and go, man, I absolutely bombed that particular question. How can I get additional assistance? Please explain it to me so that, in the future, I'm doing much better. And all of these tests are going to save. I don't know if you've priced out individual tutors lately, but they are very, very expensive. Sometimes we can't all afford to go have that private tutor for our students, but we can all afford to go on this homework helpline with the library because we have that for free available to you. It gives me opportunities to create flashcards. I can print those out. You also can do things like I can submit a college resume that I've been writing, my essays for college acceptance, the writing lab here. That again doesn't have to be done from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. I can do it anytime. I can write that essay or write that assessment that I was working on for class. I can turn it in. They're going to come back and they're not going to rewrite it for me. They're going to give me helpful hints to help me improve my writing skills so that I can do that. The other cool thing about this, for those of you who may have students that have already graduated the system, if I get ready to go to grad school and I'm going to take the LSAT or the MCAT or the GRE to go further with my education after a 4-year degree, and I want to practice that because once again, very stressful test, very expensive tests, I can get that extra practice right here as well. There are some things for our adult learners. This is just a really, really awesome program, and I'm so glad that we are able to offer it. Going back to our online resources, two things that are very similar are Hoopla. Many of you are very familiar with that. And then down here are Libby by Overdrive. Both of those are downloadable books. So if I've got my iPad or I've got my phone, I know my student is very connected to their phone. I've got my Chromebook, I've got my computer at home, I'm on taking a trip. I can download the books that I need to be reading for class and I can be reading them. If I'm not a fast reader and I need to pick something up, I can also listen to the books. We have audio books. Sometimes this is a great way to get our reluctant readers, kids who just haven't found that book they connect with yet, but we as parents really want them to love reading. We know how important it is to their education. We can help encourage them through Hoopla and Libby to start listening to books that may be a series. I always recommend that to parents whose kids don't really love reading yet. Find a series they're into because then they'll start to build those all important skills. Some of those books are graphic novels, which look like comic books. Those can be very helpful for our reluctant readers. And we have things from our classics to our nonfiction, early readers and picture books, onto books that you and I would enjoy reading when we take a trip or, if we drive for work. I love to listen to books while I'm driving for work. So that's an option. Let's talk a little bit, though, about our reluctant readers. Our kids, you finally got your kid into that one book. But now what do I do? Because I'm not an expert in all books. Well, shocker alert. Librarians aren't either, but we just know where the resources are. So Novelist K8 is brilliant for that. I know that my kids found that book. What else should I recommend to them? I can do this a couple of different ways. I can type in the author. So I know that I love Jocelyn Jackson. She writes mysteries for women or with women protagonists. It's going to give me other authors that are like her. Maybe I have a title like, I'm going to like show my age on how old my kids are because Dogman, I think, is still popular. I'm not sure. But if my kid loves Dogman, here are all the different titles that are very similar to that. Title read-alikes, author read-alikes, series read-alikes. It tells me things like the age group. It tells me the type of material. Is it fiction? Is it nonfiction? Here we've got a nonfiction book. So if I want to move them out of the fiction genre, I want to move them into a nonfiction and get them reading more about true stories, then I could do it there. If my kid is really stuck on accelerated reader, AR, I can see the AR levels here. I can also change this by publication date. If it's something that I want something new or I want something that I love to read. You don't have to do it, as I said, about with the title or with the author. You can also do the subject. So if my kid loves books about magic or my kid loves books about butterflies, I can type those subject terms in here, and it's going to give me additional resources. I also want to take you to our catalog. So this is really exciting. I said we got a new website. We also have a new catalog, which is awesome. This is how you'll find your books when you come into the library. This is going to go live actually on Monday, so it's not quite live yet. It will be live on September 18th. And I am in love with our new site because it does so many fun and phenomenal things. You can see right from the main page, it just tells you new books that we have. So if you just want to know, like, what's the library got in new, or your kid loves getting new books, you can look right here. You can also type in, again, my kids were really into Harry Potter, so you can type in the book that you're looking for. I can do the search. Couple of things that I love about this, it shows me all the different formats. So here we've got the book, I've got the audio book, I've got Hoopla and Libby that I can download right from here, ebook and audio. I've got a large print, so maybe I enjoy reading in large prints. I can tell me where it is. I can place a hold on it right from here. I can look at only things that are available now. I can say, well, oh, I forgot Harry Potter was great as the book. It's also really good as the movie. So I can go over and look and see what we have as far as the movies go. When I click in to this, it's going to give me a couple of different things. Same thing that I got before, the different formats, but it's also going to give me the series. So say, go back to Dogman. Dogman is a series, but I don't know what's next. Does it matter? Is it in a certain order? I'm going to find that information here. It also is going to pull from our novel list that we were just looking at to say, here's some other things that are like this that you may enjoy. If my child is absolutely in love with certain books by certain authors and wants to learn more, I can click on the author. It's going to give me a biography about the author. So J.K. Rowling, it's going to tell me about her. It's also going to tell me other authors that are like her. You'll notice here on the left-hand side, it shows me I can narrow my results similar to how I would on Amazon or any of our other mass distribution websites. I can look at the type of formats. I can look at the author. I can look for AR reading levels. So my kid really likes Harry Potter, but I want to make sure it's in a specific reading level. I can look at the awards that it may have received, when it was published, and the user rating. So this is brand new. We've not offered this before, but I can begin to rate the books that I've read. So, man, I really loved this book, but maybe the third book wasn't so great. And as I rate them, it's going to begin to curate lists for me of what else I might be interested in. Speaking of lists, so I've already signed myself into this account, but if I go and click on my name here, I can create my own list. So I created one earlier today for you guys. If it's a summer reading list, so the schools will present a recommended reading list for summer, I can add that to my list. I can create a list for that. If I'm in a book club, I can create a list for that. If it's the 100 books you should read this year, then I can create a list for that. Or if I've gone to, as a parent, I've gone to Novelist, I've found all of these great authors and titles my kid may enjoy, but I'm not going to remember them, and I don't want to keep having to go back to that. I can go in and create a list and, title it whatever I want, and it's going to only show up the titles that we actually have at our library. So I can go in anytime now and check it out. And once I've checked it out, I can remove it from the list if I want, or I can keep it on there to remind me of some things that I've read. So this is a wonderful way to kind of keep up with what you're reading, but also to make titles for different things that you might also want to read. And you'll link right back to our main page. We've got a lot of really exciting things coming up online for you, and then some things that we've had for some time with our online resources that you can access. We also have here transparent language, which is if you are learning a second language and you wanted some practice, or say your student was taking a second language, but they needed additional practice, or they wanted to move faster than the classroom might be moving, or if you were going on a trip somewhere and you thought it'd be really cool as a family to learn another language. So you're going to that country so you can speak. So your basic terms for that. So as you travel around, this is a place that you can do that together. Universal class is another way that if your child has exhibited, or you yourself have always wanted to know how to do something and you want a little bit additional help with that, there are hundreds of classes. Things from how to use Excel to how to do cake baking, to how to start your own business, to human resources laws, to whatever, really kind of whatever it is that you think you might be interested in, all of these classes. And the classes also come with certifications. So it's not really, it might not be important if you were just like, oh, I want to be a cake baker, I'm going to take these classes. But if you wanted to add things to your resume, your students trying to get their first job and they want to add things to their resume to show they're a future employer, man, these are all the skills that I've developed. Not only can they use the skills they're developing in the Chesapeake Public Schools classrooms, but they can also get additional assistance in taking these universal classes. So that's a lot of stuff I just threw out at you. It's going to be, I'm sure you're not going to remember all of this. There's a test later, I believe, ladies. I think that our face ladies have created a test for us. No, I'm just kidding. There's not anything like that. But if you forget, then you can come to any of our libraries. Give us a call. The staff there is phenomenal. They are certainly much smarter than I and can walk you through this in much more detail than I'm capable of doing. But we also encourage you to check out our new website, to play around on it, explore what is about us, our libraries, our online resources. We have phenomenal library of things, which checks out non-traditional items, things like telescopes and blood pressure kits and sewing machines and games. There is just always something new and unexpected at the Chesapeake Public Libraries. And we are so excited to be able to share these resources with our students and make sure that all the students in Chesapeake can succeed and have all the resources they need. We could not do it without our great friends at FACE. So once again, ladies, I thank you so much for the work that you're doing for our students. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak to you tonight and hopefully share some things maybe you didn't know before.
Thank you so much. We are equally excited about our partnership. We do have some questions that I want to take a couple minutes to answer. So when it comes to the homework help, it says that it's available every day from 2 to 11. That includes weekends, I'm assuming?
Yes, it does.
Awesome. Okay, wonderful. And then is there a time limit? If a student is on with a tutor, do they have a certain amount of time that they get, or they can stay on for 4 hours if they need to?
They can stay on as long as they need to. The other really great thing, if they make their own account, which is what I did to save that terrible math test that I did. So I hope there's nobody here that's like a math teacher that's going to watch this because they're going to want to come and help me out. But if you create your own account, then I can also save my transcripts. So I can go through that with the tutor. And if I don't remember it 3 days from now, or I get anxiety right before the test, I forget what they told me, I can go pull that off. Moms and dads can pull that off as well. And we can walk through it together to get that extra support.
Awesome. That's wonderful. And then when you're talking about Libby and Hoopla, is there a certain amount of time that people can check those books out for?
Those books check out for 3 weeks. There is a difference between the two of them. One of them, Libby, does one-to-one checkouts, which is essentially like checking out a physical copy. So if I borrow it, then Isaac can't. He's got to get on hold for it, but it'll email me when it's available. But on Hoopla, we can all check it out at the same time. And that just has to do with how the publisher has made arrangements with that database.
Gotcha. And does it work the same as regular books? If someone else has it on hold for the first one you talked about, you can't renew it, or are they able to be renewed?
If somebody has it on hold, you can't renew it.
Right.
You have to get back in line, but we also keep up with that. So we kind of watch online. If we get too many holds, then we order additional copies. There are different copies in Hoopla and in Libby. So I encourage you, if you don't find it in one, go to the other one and search that as well. You can also download music from there. So when I go on a trip, I like to download music and a couple of books to take with me to kind of kill time if I'm on a flight and I'm getting nervous.
Awesome. And then what is the app or website that you recommend for teachers to use if they have a student that does not necessarily speak English? Which one do you feel like is the best one for them to use?
I think it depends. So I think that there are a couple of different sites. If we were working on our English skills in terms of reading, I could see using Explora. So I could go on there because I can look at the reading level and I can choose a subject that they're interested in. So if they are interested, like I am, like if they're interested in elephants, then I can type in, elephants in there and I can make sure that we're matching the subject to the interest level. And we can, put them side by side. So we can practice it in English, but then we can translate it over to another language if they're not quite sure what that word means in English. So we can go back and forth. The transparent languages that I mentioned also has assistance in English. So if you are learning a second language and that second language happens to be English, another great way. One of the things that I didn't mention in Homework Help, that Homework Help website also has tutors in, I believe I believe it's just Spanish. So if you have a student whose native language is Spanish and they are working on homework in English, we can access Spanish tutors to assist them in those translation services to make sure that, they don't lose time in the classroom and they're able to get their work done with the other students.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for mentioning that. So at this time, we'll take any last questions that anyone has. In the meantime, I want to thank Isaac and Amanda so much for your wealth of information. You guys know how much I love the library, so I think that made all of the information so interesting, so other people will love it too. So if you have any questions about tonight's webinar, or if you need any additional information or resources, please feel free to reach out to us at face@cpschools.com. So if we don't have any more questions, this will conclude our More Than Books webinar. Thank you guys both so much. And remember, this webinar has been recorded and it'll be uploaded to the Chesapeake Public Schools YouTube page within the next week or so. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. And remember, families and communities work better together. Have a good evening, everyone.